Welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I'm going to be sharing my August TBR with you. It's hard to believe that we're already coming into August, which is the first month of school and the last month of summer book bingo. So there's lots going on. I realized that I didn't update you like in June at all as to like what books were going in what spot on my bingo board. So when I do my July wrap up, I'm definitely going to be sharing my bingo board with you and how that's going so far. I do have several books here that I am planning to fill certain spaces on, so I will share that with you as we go. Not all of these have places, but a few of them do. The spot that I'm having the hardest time filling is a book with fire on the cover. I haven't found anything like on my shelves or on my TBR that I want to read that has fire on there. So if you filled that prompt, I would love to know what you used. Anyways, on to the books. This is a smaller TBR, which is kind of a theme this year, which is great. It's leaving me opportunity to mood read. And in the case of August, I'm actually really hoping to pick up some of the books that are part of my TBR scratch off cards, which I have in my book journal here. I did a vlog earlier this year where I scratched off 2 of them, but as you can see, there's so many that I haven't. So these are books that have been languishing on my shelves that I want to read and just haven't made space for. So that is pretty much the plan for these. And I've only done 2 of them. So I want to do more of them in August, but I do have some plans here. For my in-person book club, we are going to be reading Born by Jeff Vandermeer. And this book sounds weird as heck. It was like a very wild card choice. And I have read Annihilation and I can't remember what the second book of the Southern Reach trilogy is. I read that one as well. And I started the third one and I wasn't really liking it. So never completed the trilogy, which has since turned into a quartet. He wrote like a 4th book, like way after the 3rd book. So I loved Annihilation though. Annihilation was a book that on paper sounds like it shouldn't have worked for me because it was such an odd book, and it's not a book I widely recommend to people because it's so weird and I wouldn't even know who to recommend it to. And I have the same feeling about Born. I don't know if I'm gonna like it like I did with Annihilation, but it's one of those ones where if I do like it, I have no clue who I'd recommend it to. The cover gives you an idea of how weird it is, but I've read the description and it has some really strange components of like this kind of dystopian world, and like there's this weird blobby creature that this person stumbles across and decides to take home with her, and then it begins growing and it just sounds so weird. But every once in a while, I love a really weird book. So I'm happy that my in-person book club kind of forces me to read books that maybe I wouldn't have picked up otherwise. And so we'll see how I feel about this one. For my classic of the month, because when I schedule out my classic TBR for the year, I schedule 1 book per month, I'm going to be reading Hannah Coulter. So this is actually a very anticipated book for me, and I am using this on my summer book bingo board for a 5-star prediction because I think I'm gonna love it. I really enjoy Barry's writing, although one of his books was like 5-star and the other one was like a 3.5. So who knows where this will land, but I'm really looking forward to it. His stories are all kind of interconnected. As far as I know, they all take place in Port Royal, Kentucky, which is an invented town, but it has like such a slow, rural feeling to his books, which just perfectly suits the area in which I live. And so it's just so wonderful. There's always like a connection to the land. And yeah, I really enjoy his writing. So I'm hoping that I will just adore Hannah Coulter. With my older sister, I'm going to be reading The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, which I've heard lots of people talk about. I think that this is kind of a thriller slash mystery. Takes place in August of 1975, which is why we decided to read it in August, because it takes place in August. A girl disappears from a summer camp and there's like this panicked search looking for her, and that's kind of all that I know about the story. I'm hoping to be able to use this in the nature space on my bingo board because the cover is very naturey. It takes place at a summer camp, which summer camps are usually involved in nature in the middle of nowhere. So we'll see. Hopefully it will fit that prompt. If not, I'm sure I'll pick something else up that will fit that. My friend Lauren has been really enjoying John Steinbeck books lately. And so I've been talking to her about her process and reading some of them. And we just read Paradise Lost together this summer. And so I was like, do you want to pick up a Steinbeck together? So I was looking at the Steinbecks on my shelf. I have this like really beautiful collection of Steinbecks that were my grandfather's. And so this is one of them that I don't hear people talk about. It's Cup of Gold. I think it's actually a historical fiction, but it has to do with pirates, which is very interesting, very different than a lot of other Steinbeck books. So I don't know if it's going to feel more like The Pearl, which, takes place in Mexico, but that's more of a parable, and I don't anticipate this one feeling that way. It's not super long, like it's under 300 pages in this edition, and as you can see, there are humongous margins, so I think it's far less than that in other editions. But yeah, this is one that I've had on my shelves for a really long time, a Steinbeck I never hear anyone talk about ever. So I'm really excited to read it. And the last buddy read that I have planned is City of Dragons by Robin Hobb. I'm reading this with my friend Whitney, who I have read most of Hobb's books with. I read the first trilogy, the Farseer trilogy, on my own. And then once she finished the Farseer trilogy from Live Ships on, we have read all the books together. So this is book 3 in the Rainwild Chronicles, which is a quartet, not a trilogy. So we've read the first 2 books so far, and I have not loved this series so far. I was told that I probably wouldn't, and a lot of people think it's the weakest part of the Realm of the Elderlings anyway, so I had low expectations going in, but I've heard that books 3 and 4 are better than books 1 and 2 in terms of pacing, in terms of action, and lore, and so my hopes are that I will enjoy books 3 and 4 more than I enjoyed books 1 and 2. I forgot to include that I also might be continuing Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe, which I've been working on for 2 months at this point. It's very slow going. I was reading it at the same time as Paradise Lost and some other more difficult books, so it's been harder for me to get through. At the time of me recording this, which I still have a full week of July left when I'm recording this, I'm 60% of the way through. So I might finish it in that last week, but I might not. So that might also carry over into August. Those are my only definitive plans. I have some other books that I might potentially pick up. I'm getting ready to finish a Christian nonfiction that I've been reading very slowly. I haven't even mentioned in my TBR videos. I don't know why. I just haven't. So it'll be in a wrap up whenever I finish it. So that means it's going to be time for me to select a new one. In addition to the TBR cards, I'm kind of itching to pick up like another nonfiction on audiobook. I have some series that I would like to work on as well. And so kind of like all over the place for August, but August is a very transitional month for me, and that we are heading back to school, like I said, and we are starting our new homeschool group as well. Our previous homeschool group didn't start up until after Labor Day, but the new one follows like the county school schedule. And so it starts the second week of August. So that kind of crazy like adjustment to all of a sudden needing to prepare for weekly classes, being gone an entire day of the week, like all that kind of stuff is happening sooner than normal this year. There's less adjustment period to going back to school and then adding in co-op as well. So that's happening. The Bible quizzing season is starting back up with practices and all that kind of stuff. So August will be a busier month for me, so I'm glad that I have less definitive plans and less buddy reads, because I have a feeling I would drop quite a few of them otherwise. I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. What are you picking up in August? What are you excited to read? Have you read any of the books that I've mentioned here? Because would love to hear your thoughts if you have. And if you're participating in Summer Book Bingo, let me know how your board is going. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.